Dear Google, I have seen the future of flagship phones, and it is not a Pixel. Signed, C. Scott Brown. So, the OnePlus 15 is finally here, and I gotta be honest, it's a lot. There are so many things about this phone that blow away the competition here in the US that I barely even know where to start. You all know that I'm a Pixel guy, but the entire time I was using this phone, all I could think about was how much I wished Pixels had some of these features. So this video is an open letter. Dear Google, here are all the things you need to steal from the OnePlus 15 for the Pixel 11. Let's start with the most obvious, most painful spec of all, the battery. My Pixel 10 Pro's battery life is fine, but that's all it is. Fine. It gets me through a day without issue, but there is no way in hell that it could be a 2-day phone for me. The battery in the OnePlus 15 completely destroys the Pixel 10 Pro. In fact, it outdoes every single Pixel ever by a wide margin, and it does so in a phone that is actually smaller than the Pixel 10 Pro XL. The magic behind this is silicon carbon technology. I've covered this before, but the basic gist is that silicon carbon batteries can hold more energy than lithium ion batteries in the same amount of space. With this new tech, OnePlus was able to cram in a battery that holds 50% more energy than what my Pixel 10 Pro can hold. That results in literally hours of extra screen time and easily makes the OnePlus 15 a 2-day phone with light usage. And that brings me to the next thing Google needs to steal here, which is charging. This isn't new, as OnePlus phones have had very fast charging for a long time now, but it's worth pointing out again just how much better OnePlus does in this area. The OnePlus 15 charges at 80 watts in the United States, which is more than twice as fast as the Pixel 10 Pro and a little less than twice as fast as the Pixel 10 Pro XL. So either way, your battery is going to be full faster with the OnePlus 15 than any Pixel phone. Not only that, but here's a revelation. An 80-watt wall charger and a cable come in the box with the OnePlus 15. Remember when that was normal? Remember when not only was that normal, but you also found a case, a screen protector, and maybe even a pair of headphones in the box? Man, how times have changed. I doubt Google would ever start putting chargers in the box with Pixels again, but 80-watt charging speeds would still be super nice. So let's move on to design for a bit. Honestly, I love Google's designs for Pixel phones, and I definitely don't want it to change the overall look. In fact, the new camera module on the OnePlus 15 doesn't look that different from the one on the back of the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. So, who knows? Maybe OnePlus is looking to Google for design inspiration. But there is one thing about the OnePlus 15's design that is better than on any modern Pixel, and that's the new oxidation technique used on the metal rails. It's hard to show you this on video, but the rails have this soft, matte feel to them, almost like ceramic or even stone. It just feels so nice. The feel translates to the back as well, making the phone just feel ultra premium all around. It's not like Google hasn't done this before. If you go way back to the Pixel 4 series, those phones had matte black paint on the rails that also felt awesome. The Pixel 5 had a unibody back that was also matte and was even made of metal, if you can believe it. But yeah, recently, Google's been stuck on this polished metal aesthetic for the Pro phones, and I just am not a fan. It's a fingerprint magnet, slippery, and just doesn't look or feel nearly as good as something like what the OnePlus 15 offers. So yeah, Google, if you're listening, the matte rails from the OnePlus 15 are incredible. Speaking of listening, I want to take a quick pause here to thank you for listening to me by watching this video. I've got a lot of other really cool Pixel content for you to check out, so please like and subscribe if you're having a good time here. Also, I have a new Discord you can join if you want to talk with me and other Pixel fans. The link for that is in the description. Next thing on the list is performance. The OnePlus 15 comes with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, which is now the fastest chip you can get in the world of Android. Now, before I get into this, I know that Google is never going to have a Snapdragon chip in the Pixel 11 series. In fact, I don't want there to be one, and I go over why in this video up here. But even though I think Tensor chips are great for what they are, there's no denying that the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 is much more powerful. I'm not going to waste time by going over benchmarks or gaming data or all that because I want to focus on the real world implications of this. Here, I have both phones set to unzip a very large zip package, about 13 gigs. Just watch how long it takes for each phone to do this. Obviously, we would expect the Snapdragon to beat the Tensor here, but the disparity between the two phones is so significant, and you can really see it with this test. Like I said, I know Google is never going back to Snapdragon, and I never want it to, but I do want Tensor to be better than it is today. I'm hoping that with Tensor G6, Google can at least get a lot closer to what the competition can do, because this is a representation of how CPU performance can make a difference in real life scenarios. Another thing related to that giant zip file is storage. My Pixel 10 Pro has 128 gigs of storage space on it, which means that 13 gigabyte file takes up about 10% of the entire storage space I have available. The OnePlus 15, though, doesn't even have a 128 gig option. It has 256 gigs at the minimum. Not only that, but the storage is faster too. My Pixel 10 Pro has UFS 3.1, while the OnePlus 15 has UFS 4.1, which is significantly faster and definitely helped with that zip file demo before. To be fair to Google, it does offer UFS 4.0 speeds with some of the models with more storage, but come on Google. OnePlus gives us the ultimate speeds no matter which model you buy and doesn't even waste our time with 128 gig models at all. And finally, the last thing I really want Google to steal from the OnePlus 15 is log video recording. This is a niche thing that only content creators would really care about, but log video gives you so much more control over how your smartphone video looks. At this point, every major competitor to the Pixel offers log recording natively without needing to jump through any hoops or using third-party apps. That includes the iPhone, Samsung's Galaxy flagships, and now the OnePlus 15. Please, Google, bring this to the Pixel 11 series. So after saying all this, you might be thinking, is Scott no longer a Pixel guy? Is he dropping the Pixel 10 Pro for the OnePlus 15? The answer to that is a definitive no. In fact, there is no way I would ever use the OnePlus 15 as my daily driver because despite how much OnePlus got right with it, it got a lot wrong too. First, while the Snapdragon processor is more powerful, it's also terrible with thermals. I don't like to focus on benchmarks too much on this channel, but you can see here that the OnePlus 15 can't even finish the Wildlife Extreme Stress Test because it overheats and shuts it down. Obviously, the score for one of these tests will be higher for the OnePlus phone than with the Pixel, but at least the Pixel can actually make it through without becoming a small sun. Also, the cameras on the Pixel 10 Pro are much better, especially the telephoto. Just look at the differences here. I don't know why OnePlus decided to downgrade every single rear camera on the OnePlus 15, but that's what it did. So, the Pixel 10 Pro is the better phone for photos by far. Let's not forget Pixel Snap either. OnePlus had every opportunity to include magnets in the back of the OnePlus 15, but it decided not to for some strange reason. Meanwhile, I snap my Pixel 10 Pro onto all sorts of things all day. It's become a must-have feature for me. Seriously, I will never buy another phone without magnets built into it. The list goes on and on here. The Pixel 10 Pro is much more compact, so it's easier to use with one hand. The Pixel software is so much better than Oxygen OS, which is still fast and smooth, but also just ripping off iOS left and right. Look at these liquid glass buttons and the settings icon, which is basically just lifted directly from Apple. And don't even get me started on how the quick settings tiles and the notifications are split. I know I can shut this off, but the idea that the phone even does this in the first place just makes me so angry. Android system is literally perfect. Don't change it. Google will also support the Pixel 10 Pro for much longer than OnePlus will support its phones. A Pixel 10 Pro is guaranteed 7 years of Android upgrades, while the OnePlus 15 is only guaranteed 4 years of them. The Pixel 10 Pro's peak brightness is much higher than OnePlus's, the speakers are better, it rests on a table without wobbling. I could go on for a long time with this. So yeah, Google, if you're listening, there are specific things I want you to steal from the OnePlus 15. But overall, the Pixel 10 Pro is still better, at least for my needs. I just wish there was a way we could cram these two phones together into one super phone that would have the best of both and none of the weaknesses. Unfortunately, that day is probably not coming anytime soon. But now, I want to know what you think. Are you a Pixel person thinking about jumping to OnePlus? Or are you using something else and trying to decide if OnePlus or Pixel is the best place to go? Tell me your story down in the comments below. Before you leave though, why not check out this video here where I talk at length about the strengths and weaknesses of the Pixel 10 Pro. Don't forget to like and subscribe, that always makes me smile. I'll see you all down in the comments.